What's up everyone? Welcome to the last video for this week, and today I bring you a comparison between the Coolpad Catalyst. Why do I keep saying Catalyst? I don't know. I must really want that phone. But anyway, the Coolpad Canvas versus the iPhone 5S. Let's get to it. Alright, so here we go. We have the Coolpad Canvas on the left and the iPhone 5S on the right. And right away you can see how much difference there is in size between these two phones. We get a 5.5 inch display on the Canvas and only a 4 inch display on the iPhone. And this is the 5S, as you can see. It's not the SE. The SE would have some branding, or the SE would have the SE branding right down there by the iPhone logo. A little dirty. But as you can clearly see, this is not the SE. This is indeed the 5S. And this is indeed the Canvas. So both these phones are turned on as usual, as you can see here. Man, look how much size difference that is. Zoom in just a tad. Alright, so there we go. We got some apps lined up, but before we do that, let's go ahead and do the usual boot down test and boot up test. So it looks like the 5S turned off in a split second, so that's very nice for iOS. And I don't know what the deal is with this lighting, but I actually have a pretty decent amount of light, you know, right here. I have a freaking dedicated light, as you guys should know, next to me on my left here, which is probably eventually going to make me sweat, but that's just fine. I had to tilt my screen a little bit so I can see better. But alright, there you go. They're both powered off. Took the Canvas a little while to turn off though. So, now that they're powered off, let's go ahead and boot them up in 3, 2, 1. As you can see, the 5S turned on faster, like it showed the Apple screen first, so that's very nice. Usual cricket boot up sound. Sorry, I kind of lost my words right there. Who will be faster though? The Canvas, holy moly. That is very surprising. And these are actual reactions from me. Alright, as you can see, the Canvas was up before the iPhone, and I was not expecting that. So anyway, here we go. Here's all the apps that we're going to test. So to start out, we're going to start with Pandora. 3, 2, 1. That's interesting. The Canvas is actually in the lead right now. Don't mind that notification. I got some mail on the iPhone. And before I go any further, the Coolpad has off-screen capacitive buttons, whereas, as you know, with iPhones only has a single button, and the 5S has a clickable home button, not like the ones you see on the new iPhones. Anyway, next app is Snapchat. That was a mistap. Let me try that again. And Canvas still in the lead. 5S not too far behind. Kick, Canvas. 5S is actually being a little slow right now. Messenger. That was a mistap once again. Let's try that again. Still the Canvas won. 5S is not wanting to be very fast in this video. Now it's loaded, so there you go. YouTube. The 5S has proven to be quite a slow phone against the Canvas. Next is Maps. Now this is two different apps on two different platforms. Google Maps on Android and regular Maps on Apple, just so you guys know. Basically the same message there. The canvas loaded it first in my eyes. I think I saw it load first. Got it. Next is going to be contacts, again on Android and then iOS. They're completely different. Exactly the same for this one, this app. Now we have mail. Once again, Gmail on Android and stock mail or Apple Mail on iOS. And I do have some mail, and I don't mind if you guys read it. So anyway, here we go. The 5S, just like that, right before the canvas. Just nothing interesting anyway. It's just like offer up and whatnot, and like Bloomingdale's and like newsletters and whatnot. I just said Bloomingdale's, Twitter, all that random stuff. Next we have Play Store, then we have App Store. 5S opened it first, but the Coolpad loaded it first, and then the 5S loaded it. There we go. Next is settings. Canvas loaded it, the 5S like 1.5 seconds behind. Instagram. And by the way, these are the most recent softwares for each of these devices. They're fully up to date. The 5S being on the new iOS, the Canvas still at Nougat, so there's that. Shout out, I guess, to Do Anything for Views. Of course, I know he doesn't watch my videos. He really doesn't know me. So there's a random shout out. Next is Battery Doctor, and you will probably see how different these are. You know, you'll see. This is a new version. This has to be updated. As you can see here, if I bring it closer, battery needs to be updated. This app will not work with future versions of iOS. The developer of this app needs to update it to improve its compatibility. So there's that. So as you can see here by the two completely different user interfaces, so you see the percentage there, and you can't see it on the 5S. And Periscope. So it turns out that Nougat is actually faster than the newest iOS, which may or may not be a surprise to you guys. So here we go. The Canvas, by the way, loaded it first. And now let's go down here to phone. The Canvas loaded it first, but the 5S actually bring up the dialer first. So as you can see how different the dialers look across two different platforms. Next is messages. Canvas. I don't know what else to say rather than Canvas, 5S, 5S Canvas. Yeah. Next, we have Chrome there on the Canvas. I don't have Chrome currently on the 5S, so it looks like we'll have to load Safari and go to The Verge as usual. It's already loading it there. Alright, no thanks. Alright, now let's go ahead and load The Verge. Alright, there we go. 3, 2, 1. And they're off. As you can see, the 5S actually sprang ahead. You saw that. And it looks like the 5S actually won because it stopped loading and the Coolpad is still loading. And you'll probably realize and just see how smooth it is on the 5S, as you can see here. You can't really scroll that fast. As you can see, I'm literally doing like a flick motion and it doesn't scroll correctly. So let's try the Canvas. There you go. You can see how fast you can scroll. And due to the size, well, the different size screen, you can obviously see more content on the bigger screen rather than this small but very pocketable 4-inch screen. As you can see there, here's how the 5S looks in my hand. It's pretty small. iPhone is not activated. Here you go. You guys seen that message before. It's nothing new. In terms of pinch to zoom, let's see. Alright. Canvas is pretty snappy and pretty smooth. And the 5S, I already know it's going to be very fast and smooth. You can see there. 2017 Prius. What do you know? And now let's go to, well, I forgot about this app. Let's go to camera. 3, 2, 1. It looks like the 5S loaded at first, at least on my end. That's what I saw. And as you can see, they actually look somewhat identical. Camera rotate button is up here on the canvas, right here, and down here on the lower right on the 5S. Let's go ahead and switch them in 3, 2, 1. 5S rotated at first. And honestly, it's no doubt that the 5S should actually have a lot better color to it. Now this is just random right here, but as you can see, the camera is actually center on the canvas. I know it's pretty stupid to say. You can obviously see how in line it actually is, but anyway. But yeah, like I was saying, there's no doubt that the 5S is going to have like overall better frame rate and better color. I don't know what I should be testing. Here's both my hands. There you go. In terms of taking pictures, you can see they both take pretty fast photos. And of course you can hold down the button on the iPhone and get burst mode. Can you do the same on the canvas? Let's find out. No. If you can see that right by my finger, you can see that it moves because the phone actually rocks back and forth. So it's not flat, as with the 5S it doesn't rock, which is very nice. And there's no kind of gestures with your hand, like you don't make a fist and it won't take a photo. Both have HDR auto on or off. Let's flip to the rear camera. The 5S actually has slow motion, whereas the Canvas doesn't. You would have to download a third-party app for slow motion on Android. But it's very nice that the 5S has slow motion, as you can see right here. Very smooth frame rate, which is very cool. If I'm correct, 240 frames per second, so there's that. Video mode. You can see how almost identical they look in terms of the record button. And on the Canvas you have night mode. And it's ideal for shooting in low light, is what it says basically right there. Slow motion and time-lapse on the 5S. The slow motion on the 5S is thanks to that 64-bit processor, which the iPhone 5 and 5C do not have, if I'm not mistaken. And on the Canvas, all the way to the right, you do have a Pro mode. You have square on the 5S and panorama as well. So, very nice options on both of these handsets. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the multitasking. Let's go ahead and see which one holds apps open the longest, as usual. Pandora, exactly the same. Oh, you saw that. It looks like the Canvas won on that one because it looked like the 5S had to reload. Snapchat. Let's wait for this one to see if they do anything. No, doesn't look like it, so exactly the same. Kick. Exactly the same. Messenger. As I was just about to double tap on the 5S, you can see that it had to reload. So the Canvas won on that one. YouTube. Canvas had to reload it. 5S looks like it held it open the longest. And I accidentally just swiped an app out of the way. I apologize, I don't even know what it was. Next is Maps. I'd say the 5S won that one. Contacts. Exactly the same. However, it is a system app, so you would expect them to have them open at the same time. Gmail and Mail, exactly the same. Now, if you didn't hear me before, the reason why I do that slight pause right now, the reason why I do a slight pause is because just to make sure they don't reload. So there's that. Play Store and App Store, exactly the same. Settings, 5S had to reload it, therefore the Canvas 1. Instagram, looks like the 5S has to reload it, there you go, called it. So the Canvas 1. Surprisingly, the Canvas is actually beating the 5S in a lot of these areas. Battery Doctor, exactly the same. The iPhone is at least, let's see, 5 years old if I'm not mistaken, and the Canvas is brand new. So there you go. I wasn't really paying attention to this app, so because of that, let's go ahead and try another app. Phone, exactly the same. Messages, exactly the same. Chrome and Safari. The 5S looked like it had to reload it. So Canvas 1, that one. Camera is the last one. I wasn't really paying attention that closely, but I think the Canvas won, but I could be wrong. And as you guys know, that there is a clear all button on the Canvas, whereas the 5S doesn't have a clear all button. So you have to go through these apps manually like so to close them out. It's very fast though. As you can see there, I'm already done. You could do the same for this, for Android, but it's not as fast as doing it with the iPhone. But yeah. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you didn't hear me correctly in the beginning, this is the last video for this week, and I'll be back on my regular schedule next Wednesday, meaning I will upload every single Wednesday starting next Wednesday. So, hope you found this video enjoyable in any way possible, and I'll see you again in the next one.